If you want to level up your authentication's user experience as well as security, Passkeys are the right technology for you. They're supported by more and more devices, and many major companies like GitHub or Apple already allow you to use them. And yes, even your PlayStation already does so. So today, I'm going to show you how to implement Passkey authentication with session and user management into your React application. By the end of this tutorial, your React app will feature a sign-up as well as a login page and a profile page, which can only be accessed once the user is successfully authenticated. Let's get into it. For implementation, we are going to use Corbado, which is free to use for individuals, and you can find a link to it in the description. Let's first get started with signing up. We'll create an account, create a passkey, click continue. We're choosing some of our frameworks we're using. And then we're inside the developer panel. Let's create a new project. Here we are in the project setup wizard. Let's first give a name to our project. We'll call it React. Choose our product. We are going to use Corbado Complete as we don't have any existing users. Choose the development environment. Choose Corbado Session Management as we want to use theirs. We are going to have a web app in React. And here we see some basic integration information, but we are going to cover this in this tutorial. Now we have our project set up. There's a few things we need to do to properly use it. First, we need to define an application URL, which will be, in our case, localhost on port 5173. And that's pretty much it we have to do. The application URL just tells the Corbado Developer Panel on which URL your application will run. The relying party ID is used for the passkeys. Passkeys are always bound to a certain URL and can only be used on that URL after creation. The relying party ID is exactly this setting. So all of our passkeys created will be bound to localhost. In production, we have to specify another relying party. But be aware that changing your relying party ID for an existing project will break all existing passkeys, as the URLs won't match anymore. But that's all we need to do inside the developer panel, and we can now get to the integration. Open your project folder inside your editor, and let's start by opening the terminal and create a new React app with Vite. Choose React as a framework, and then TypeScript next. Now, we can install all packages needed throughout this tutorial, which will be the Corbado React package with all of its types, so we get good TypeScript support, as well as React Router DOM. We'll also install Tailwind for styling. Don't forget to initialize Tailwind and configure your Tailwind content setting inside the Tailwind config to include all source code files. Move to the app.css file and delete all boilerplate. For the index.css file, we will delete all of its content and replace it with the necessary Tailwind directives. Now, create a new pages directory inside our source, which will hold all of the individual pages we're about to create. First, we'll set up an auth page that provides the user with the option to either log in or sign up for a new account, and it lives under the pages/auth.tsx file. Import the CorbadoAuth component, which will handle displaying the sign up and login option, as well as the use Corbado hook, which provides us with authentication-related information, as well as utility functions like a logout. Also import use navigate from React Router DOM to allow us to navigate between our pages. Create your auth component and retrieve the isAuthenticated, as well as the loading state from use Corbado and the navigate function with use navigate. If the user is already authenticated, we'll redirect him to the home page, which we'll create next. Now, define an onLogin callback function that a CorbadoAuth component will need and execute once the user has either signed up or logged in. Inside of it, we're just going to redirect him to the home page. Now, you can display the CorbadoAuth component and hand it our onLogin callback. Second, we'll set up a profile page under pages/profile.tsx. Import the use Corbado hook and the use Corbado session hook, where the use Corbado session hook will provide us with the user object as well as the short session JWT token, but we're only going to use the user object here. We'll also import the passkey list component which allows the user to view and edit his existing passkeys. Once again, also import useNavigate. Retrieve the isAuthenticated and loading state, as well as the logout utility function from useCorbado, and the user from useCorbado's session. If the user is not authenticated, redirect him to the auth page. Finally, return the profile page, which will show the user's information if he exists. We'll display his email address as well as his name. Next, we're going to display the passkey list component as well as a button to allow the user to log out of his account. This is all managed by the logout utility function from useCorbado. This will automatically redirect him to the auth page, as the logout will trigger the navigation we defined on top. Before building our last page, we are going to retrieve our project ID from the Corbado Developer Panel, so go back to it once again. It can be found under Settings, General, Project Info, right under Corbado API Access. Create a new environment file and put the ID under the vpublic Corbado Project ID. Lastly, navigate to your app.tsx file, which already has some boilerplate in it, so remove all of that for now. Import the CorbadoProvider from Corbado and create browser router as well as router provider from React Router DOM. Also import both of the pages we have created. To keep things more readable, we'll already retrieve our project ID from the environment here. Let's first set up our routing logic. We are going to encapsulate it inside a route provider function where we define our routes first, which will be the auth page under /auth and the profile page as our home page. Lastly, we will return a router provider and hand our routes into the create browser router function. Now we can already set up our app component. Wrap your entire page inside the Corbado provider, which is needed to allow all other Corbado components and hooks to work, and hand it your project's ID. There's lots of configuration that can be done here, which you can read about in our docs. You'll find a link in the description. For now, we're just going to use the dark mode setting and turn it off. Then just put your route provider inside and the application setup is already done. Now we're ready to start our application with npm run dev inside your terminal. Create a new account and take a look at your profile information. You can also log out again and take a look at how easy it is to log in with passkeys. You can also try out our passkey list component, which will allow you to delete existing passkeys and then create a new one once again. The best thing is that if you are in any setting where your passkey isn't available, Corbado provides fallback solutions like email one-time passcodes to ensure a smooth authentication flow in any case. Be aware that our React package offers much more than what was shown in this video. Take a look at the documentation if you're curious to find out. We also have great support for your backend with SDKs for different languages, which will allow you to easily access authentication state and user information on your server. We'll upload videos on these in the following weeks, so make sure to subscribe in order to not miss any of those. Also take a look at our blog, where we cover everything from front-end to back-end integration, or how you can integrate Corbado into your database design. If you have any suggestions for improvements, questions, or feature requests, leave a comment. We'll release videos for Next.js, Flutter, Node.js, and many more in the coming weeks. Feel free to check out our Substack if you don't want to miss any news, and our Slack channel for technical support. Thank you for listening. See you in the next one.